Good morning and welcome to the next presentation at ABG Investor Days. My name is Simon Granat. I'm an equity analyst at ABG covering IT and technology companies. And one of the companies that I cover is Formpipe. And with that, we are super excited to have, again, its CEO, Christian Sundin here, who will present the company, talk a little bit about recent trends, and then we will also follow up the presentation with a smaller Q&A session. So with that said, Christian, please go ahead and present.
Thank you, Simon. Super excited. That's nice to hear. Welcome, everyone. I am Christian Sundin. I'm the CEO of Formpipe Software. We're a company that's listed on Nasdaq Stockholm. I will have planned to go through 3 sections today on today's agenda. I will start with describing Formpipe and our business and our customers and what sort of value we provide to our customer base. I will take a detour through reminding people that have heard me speak before of our initiative of accelerated growth. And for some of you, it's the first time you hear that, so I think that makes sense to understand where we come from and where we're heading. And then I will round it off with some financial highlights from the Q2 report, but also a progress reporting on the initiative and investment that we're currently pursuing in finding and executing on a growth journey. So, having said that, Formpipe, we're a software company within content services. What is content services then? It's a matter of bringing structure and order and efficiency into digital information. You can compare it to being what finance systems do for numbers, we do for words and documents, and cases and processes. So helping organizations to be handling their digital information in a more efficient way. We also have a software for customer communication management that helps these finance or ERP system to be better in communicating towards their customer, making sure that the data that is stored within an ERP system or similar bank system is presented in a good format and possible to send onwards to their customers and make that efficient in digital formats or in any format actually. So that is our 2 core offerings in terms of software. We're very strong in the public sector market in Sweden and Denmark, where we're market leading. But we're also addressing the private sector internationally through a partner network. And our revenue last year was 470 million, whereof a lot of it is recurring revenue. And our ambition is always to drive recurring revenue. And have focus on that's the growth we want to pursue, and had an ARR when we left 2021 of 315 million Swedish kronor. We're today currently 287 actually at the end of Q2, but we're growing, so approximately 290 employees mainly situated in Denmark, Sweden, UK, and US and Germany. But we're pursuing to help partner also in other geographies, so we most likely will add on people in different geographies the coming years. So, what do we do? What are our software offerings? To the public sector, we're very much the core vendor for the digital heart in public sector. For Swedes, we call it the diarieföring or case management or the registry in English. There's no real, from the international perspective, a lot of other countries do not have a diary the way we have in Sweden and Denmark. But that's the heart of information management within public sector. It involves every case that a citizen or another authority or anything that's worthwhile tracking, and make sure that it's traceability in decisions, in what has happened in a case. For it could be the tax authority, it could be a municipality, it could be any public sector customer. They need this, and they need to make sure that it's traceable and understandable, the decision they've taken. And we are providing the core platform for that, and that's what we call case and document management. And I'm listing a few of our customers here. The Swedish Tax Authority, the Försvarets materielverk, the Defense, Stockholm City, Region Syddanmark in Denmark, and Helsingør Kommune. So both municipality, local government, and central government customers to these platforms that we do have a very strong position with our customers with. Then we also have grants management. It's all about grants. That's a specific product offering that is very niched for the grants market, where regular case and document management system doesn't really do the job for them. It's a matter of paying out. It could be EU grants to farmers, but it could also be unemployment grants or whatever. So we have a very, very strong presence in this market as well, helping also public sector customers with that. And then at the end of the life cycle of every document that is produced within both case and document management and grants management, there comes a digital preservation. Many of these cases and decisions and documents needs to be stored for 50 years from now, and thereby a digital preservation system is necessary. And you can't just keep them in the everyday business system, because then the system is dragged down in performance. It's also not in accordance with laws, how you should preserve very important information over a long time. And what we are offering here is a vendor independent system. So actually, if buying our digital preservation system, which is really we're on the a front runner in how to do this, because we have a very close relationship with our customers. Denmark and Sweden are front runners in public sector in general, making sure that actually Adobe, Microsoft, Oracle, or even Formpipe can vanish from the face of the earth, but you will still, in 50 years from now, be able to retract and put your documents and digital information that you've stored in our archive in a way that you can also put it together and understand in which context all of those documents and decisions belong. So that's a strong offering, and that's a growing market, because with the ever-increasing volume of digital information, preservation becomes more and more important for our customer base. So those are the software offerings. Then we have add-ons on top of that. It's everything from secure digital signatures that follows the regulation of public sector and so forth. So we're a full service and software vendor and provider to the public sector of Sweden and Denmark. That's our go-to game here on the public sector. When it comes to the private sector, we're primarily targeting the market with our product Lasernet and the complementing product Autoform DM. And that is a customer communication management product. It's a product that makes it possible to use the valuable data in ERP system and communicate that to existing and potential customers. And it's a wide range of use cases that you can use this product to. But what we can make sure that what we know is that almost no ERP system is very strong out of the box on customer communication management. So the market is really big, and we are really strong on the Microsoft ERP systems and the Temenos bank system to help those platforms that are really, really good on what they should be focusing on doing, making sure that the digital information in those systems is handled in a correct and good way and efficient way for those customers. But then taking that information out from those systems, that is normally ERP systems and such are not as strong in that. So having an add-on product, which Lasernet is, really helps both the system integrator that should implement the ERP platform, but also makes the end customer really looking better towards the outside and towards their customer by having a Lasernet add-on to a ERP platform. So that's what we're doing in that area in the private sector. And since we have such different product offering, we of course also have different strategies on how to go to market with this. In the public sector space, which is a fenced market, we know every potential customer by name already. We are pursuing a growth journey on approaching our current customers, but of course also win market share within our public sector domain in Sweden and Denmark. But our biggest growth potential is to help our customer base with more things. So what we're doing is to get closer to our end customer by co-create add-ons to the current platform. A great example, I mentioned digital signature. During the pandemic here, our customers were in public sector were also working from home, and then they realized the need for a digital signature product, very much like the ones that are in the markets. There are several really competent ones described, DocuSign and so forth. However, in terms of the needs for the public sector and the laws or regulation in terms of archiving of those signatures does not really comply with how public sector wants to do this, meaning that people that work from home, a lot of cases it was not possible to make decision because no one could come in and actually sign it with a pen and paper. So together with the customer, we built a product that lives up to the regulation and the laws of public sector, and that also integrates to our case and document management platforms, making sure that it's much more smoothly for our customer to work with that. Being out at the customer, working with them, with the delivery, with their administration and the e-government and their digital journey, we get those innovation ideas, then we build add-ons, and then we address that to our entire customer base and get great scalability of those add-on sales, taking a larger portion of what in the journey of digitalization of the public sector. And that's a strong growth journey that we're pursuing right now. We are looking into add additional markets outside of Sweden and Denmark. That will not be a greenfielding exercise because there are alikes to Formpipe in more or less every North European country, and there are different laws and regulation in those countries, meaning that we will pursue that path through acquisition, and then all of those add-ons that I mentioned, the digital signature, for example, would be applicable to address to bigger markets. So that's an interesting M&A journey that we're also looking into. And in public sector, yeah, we will combine the growth with profitability, and growth is stable, and we will. We're coming from the Sweden public sector business to have a partner model. We're now aligning with how we do it in Denmark and see similarities and going for becoming a full service provider, one-stop shop for the entire public sector space. When it comes to the private sector, that's super exciting, as you would have mentioned it, said it, Simon. It's an even stronger growth potential. We're still a small player, and even if the market might not be unlimited, it's definitely not a fenced market where we know every customer. We are seeing great potential in our partnership with Microsoft and Temenos. Over time, we will be a system or software agnostic, making sure that we can help every ERP system with their customer communication management. But at the time being, the potential in Microsoft and Temenos alone is so huge for us that we're focused on that in this era of the Formpipe journey. So we're investing heavily to support and grow the partner network. We're not in the private sector. We're very, very true to the partner channel sales, and we need that bandwidth to reach out to all potential customers on Lasernet around the globe. And here we also see that it's only SaaS revenue that will push this very firm. It's SaaS, and the growth of SaaS and subscription is really strong here, and the potential is great on Lasernet. So that's what we're pursuing, and we see great traction in these channels at the moment. So that was the Formpipe at a glance. Perhaps took a few minutes longer than I planned, but I will then go into growth. I mentioned that we come from a history where from up to 2019 to 2020, we came from pursuing a balanced approach to growth. We were only put in focus on growth of recurring revenue, and we were actually pushing deliveries out of our way, even though there was potential in that. We were cleaning up and making it a true software company. And that was a several-year journey where we continuously improved our margin with modest growth combined with that. When we entered into almost two years ago, we said, okay, we can do this. We know how to increase our margins. We know how to pursue a stable growth. What about trying to grow a little bit faster? Where can we invest to make that growth happen? And in line with that, we also published financial targets saying that, we will increase the speed of growth to 10% in average per year up to 2025. When coming in 2025, we will have 70% of our revenue in recurring revenue. So still very much focus on growing the recurring revenue. And we will have an EBIT about 20% margin coming 2025. And since this is a very scalable business model with a large portion of recurring revenue, we will also be able to pay dividends to our shareholders meanwhile. So 2021, or actually late 2020, saw a start of a growth journey focused on accelerating growth, mainly in the US and Europe. Doing that by investing in as I said, in the partner network, providing more support more capacity to support and grow the partner network around the globe. But also have more people employed to help our customers in the public sector space, making the business transformation from being partner-driven or partner delivery in Sweden public to be a full service provider, as we already are in Denmark. Also an added investment in this. High share of recurring revenue, that's a given for us, and then complement the organic growth with strategic acquisitions. And what does this mean then? All of the things that I mentioned on the previous slide are front-heavy investments to feed the growth. To invest the capabilities that cost money right now, immediately, while the growth of recurring revenue recognition on that comes over time. So we openly said we will invest in this. We'll focus on Microsoft and Temenos, as already said, and increase capacity and resources in our organization. All of this will have a short-term impact on the EBIT, and that is what we're living through right now. We have pushed our margins downwards significantly since we initiated this. And let's look on how that has turned out in terms of financials. Starting with, though, the ramp up what we said. We were going to build capacity to make sure that this will happen. And we've gone from a little bit about 210 FTEs to 290 or 287 Q2, but we'll continue to grow that in sort of the same pace as we did the last year. And we added an acquisition of Alchemit early this year. Could be seen as a bundled recruitment because it was a partner of ours that had strong competence and experience in delivering our products to the public sector of Sweden. So it was sort of fast-forwarding on our strategy. Instead of recruiting, we took a gigantic leap in the future by acquiring Alchemit and making sure that we adopt the the experience and the structure and the processes that Alchemit already had in place in order to fast forward our strategy of becoming the one-stop shop to the public sector of Sweden, as we already are in Denmark. The integration made us take a hit on the productivity in Q1, making sure that we aligned all the resources and how to work. But we already in Q2 saw a great improvement in efficiency again, and we have great comfort in that we will see that continue going forward with both better productivity and margins and so forth. So a very, very strong message in that, and that a great acquisition towards the journey of becoming the one-stop shop provider in public sector. So what I've said is that a lot of investment right now. Yeah, and of course these investments, they are hurting the cost line immediately when adding resources. So number of employees, if we compare quarter by quarter in Q2, now we get a little bit detail. I think Q2 is relevant to share since yeah, it's the latest. Could have worked with annual numbers as well, but they tell the same story. But Q2 to Q2, we see that we are 16 people up and that the staff costs are up 12%. We see that sales expenses are up. That's not a bad thing, actually. That indicates what I will come to on the next slide, that the revenue is also up. But then we're also comparing to a pandemic world where traveling, marketing, and so forth were on the very low side. So we see that those sort of costs are also up, which also is a sign of increased activity in the market, which will drive more sales for us coming forward, and we come back to that. But we also had some significant one-off cost in Q2, where we, for example, recruited new board members, and we had a project of evaluating our way forward as a company. So some one-off costs in Q2. But all in all, the costs are up quite significantly since last year's Q2. However, we also can clearly see that this pays off in the strong growth. We have a total growth for the quarter that sums up to 17% compared to last year. We see that this is driven to a large extent of the business transformation of public sector Sweden, where we have increased deliveries, which is really good thing, and that will support accelerated growth of the recurring revenue and the software sales, as well as I mentioned, that the getting close to the customer, building those add-on and selling that to larger customer base as a subscription or software as a service. We see also that the recurring revenue are up 15%, and that is primarily driven by SaaS, that is up 44%. And then this could look like a negative thing, that the traditional license goes down to historical low level of 2.4 million in a quarter. That's actually a good thing, because that means that we are shifting to more and more, and we're more or less through the entire shift of the business model of the software, selling our software entirely as recurring revenue, subscription or SaaS. So it can't be lower than 0, and 2.4 is almost 0. So we're almost there. So that's a good thing. And another good thing is that we see that the private sector has been the front runner in the SaaS transformation, but we now see more and more of our deals towards the public sector also coming through as subscription or SaaS. So that's a great thing. And with this subscription and SaaS, yeah, the revenue recognition, that comes later. So we haven't seen that in the margins now, but from what I interpreted of this, that is that we are right now on the lowest end of our margins, and now we quarter by quarter will start to bring back the margins with the growth of recurring revenue that will bring our margins back. So we feel great comfort in our financial targets that we will break the 20% margin barrier in 2025. And to underline that, we came from, as I said, a history of being very focused on balanced growth of recurring revenue and having solid margins. We initiated somewhere here in 2020, we started to to prepare for growth. And when you can see what happened in 2021 when we increased capacity. The ACV build-up went through a paradigm shift. And what we can see now when we continue to increase capacity, we see now in Q2 another stepping stone of ACV. I wouldn't say that 12 million, that's an extremely strong quarter, of course, and also supported very much by the public sector ACV. That was not a spectacular private sector ACV that made that number. It's actually the entire business that provides the ACV here. So we are looking to coming quarters with even stronger ACV build-up. And we're now on looking, this is SaaS alone, but we're now looking on an ARR of 105 in SaaS, coming from 11 million in 2017. And we had quite slow growth here a number of years, and now we're on this trajectory. The investment is really paying off. That's what we can see, but you need to look on other things than only the P&L. The ACV comes with 1 year delay in terms of margins and profits. So that was that. Thanks for me.
Thank you so much, Christian. Unfortunately, I believe that our time is up, but it was very exciting having you here. And I believe that you also addressed several of my questions. Yeah. So without further ado, I'd like to send again a big thank you for attending here today.
Thank you, Simon. Sorry for not leaving room for questions to you. Sorry for that.
We'll take that next time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Bye.